Hey everybody, welcome back to Southpaws Sports, the show for leftists who love sports. As always, I'm your host, Adam. I am joined by my co-hosts.
I'm Maurice.
And I'm Nathan. It's Kratom time down the hatch.
Well, this is by far, I think, one of the episodes I've looked most forward to shooting. Just looking at the list that we have. So let's get right into it. This week's Power Play. Up first, we have the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame inductees, of which there are none. Just like in 2013, we have nobody. Nobody. It's just the 9th time ever, and nobody will be in. Much ballyhoo was made by the serious baseball men of America about the particular weight that they felt this year voting. As if the Hall of Fame is not filled with white supremacists, cheaters, and abusers. Particularly hilarious, though, on this one is, of course, Curt Schilling not getting in yet again. His 9th year. He only has 1 year left. He is demanding to be taken off the ballot, though, because he is a big baby. He took to Facebook like a giant boomer to whine about not getting in and not wanting to be in. So people were, though, asking to take their vote back for Curt, so we don't really know if they did this or not because of his support of the Capitol insurrection. So, guys, what is your favorite, least favorite part? Obviously, we need to abolish the Hall of Fame. We've been over this before. What do we got?
Well, you nailed it. It's longtime listeners know that Southpaws policy is abolish the Hall of Fame, and it looks like the baseball writers of America taking that to heart, and they're self-abolishing the Hall of Fame. This is a good start. No new entries. It's frozen now, and I think especially because we have one of the most fun classes, and baseball is very anti-fun. As long as we just keep it right here, no new entries. We slowly think fades, recedes into memory. Here we go. That's the correct thing. Good call.
You know, what I think is funny about Curt Schilling is that part of the reason why he put out that statement is because he thinks he'll have a better chance with the Veterans Committee. And man, let me tell you, you're not going to have a better chance. But for me, I mean, like you said, Adam, this MLB Hall of Fame season is going to be one that's mired by the barrage of writers constantly peddling out these stories about how difficult it was for them to sleep at night when they voted for these piece of shit abusers. It's like, man, either stand on your shit or don't. It is what it is.
Yep. It was a bunch of blowhards blowing very hard. So to hell with all of them. Well, something that's at least started out as a lot more fun than listening to a bunch of old men whine in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We have the National Women's Hockey League, the NWHL, starting their very, very good Isabel Cup tournament this week. It has found an enthusiastic audience on Twitch, where such memes as the Gloss Boss, which is the Zamboni driver, he has his own fan cam right now. The play has been very good. Lots of great high-scoring games, lots of great low-scoring goalie stonewallings. It's been awesome so far. Of course, there has to be a dark cloud. We can't enjoy anything in this world. Barstool Sports has come and inserted themselves. Erica Nadini, their CEO, came and started inserting herself as the victim after having a couple players from the league come on her Token CEO podcast. And she sent out this tweet and with this video naming all of the haters that are just trying to stop Singer want the league to win. A significant player response did follow, saying, "Go fuck yourself." And the league then also announced, "Go fuck yourself." Barstool, of course, will double down on this pity party because that is their MO, is attaching themselves to this manufactured outrage. Portnoy is claiming that Soroya Tinker, player who kind of took the lead on stopping all this nonsense. He claims that she should be in jail for voicing her opinion on Twitter. So guys, I don't know if you've been able to catch the games yet, but what do you think of this whole thing?
My first thought is that this CEO of Barstool, Erica Nardini, I don't know if you know this, she hosts a podcast on Barstool called the Token CEO Podcast as a woman at Barstool. And I just want to let Miss Nardini know there is such a thing as leaning in too hard to the joke. Where it's very obvious that you believe that is a correct assessment. But if you lean hard enough, that it makes it okay and we can all laugh. We're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. That's my Barstool take.
Yeah, I find it interesting that both Nardini and Portnoy act as if they're these big champions of women's sports and women's hockey. And for me, it's just like, okay, if you do actually care about the underdevelopment of the NWHL's audience, then perhaps attacking them and basically doxing the writers and the people who kind of criticized you a little bit, perhaps that's not the best move. Perhaps that's not how you show love and support for the NWHL.
Exactly.
Well, I obviously, as the resident Barstool hater, I have to obviously take an overtime here. So smash that fucking button. Well, my thing with this is it's just like I'm so sick of seeing this fucking manufactured outrage shit. Barstool Sports is by far the most Trumpian expression of the content mill that we have ever seen. It's so boring at this point watching them try to use this combination of frat bro logic and Republican id poll twisting to try and always play themselves into the right. But the sad thing is about them is they aren't content being the bad boys. They actually really want everybody to grovel and love them, which is so fucking pathetic. It's just it's so wussy. They're all motivated by this, and it's just pathetic to me. And I'm glad to see the NWHL come out, stand against it, and play some great hockay.
Well said. And not stopping there, I am also going to use my overtime.
Okay.
I'm going to use it. Take
Take this, fucking haters.
Okay, so in response to this, Portnoy came out with an emergency press conference, and speaking to what Marie said about actually if you care about the underdevelopment, some things Portnoy said about the NWHL. He said, this league sucks and is doomed. And then he said that they will start their own league and they will blackball any players who said anything bad about Barstool, which just proves to show that, just like Marie said, they don't give a shit. Anything that Barstool does that has any sort of gleam of being a good thing, they're just doing it for the publicity. And if anyone toes one step out of line, they will show their true colors as fucking bullies. And they're fucking bullies. They always have been. They always will be.
Garbage.
Give it to them. Give it to them online. Well, we do have more this week in racist hockey. I know it's surprising to you that hockey is racist, of course, but Tony DeAngelo, noted racist shithead MAGA Guido, defenseman of the New York Rangers. He's back on Twitter, possibly after leaving due to getting owned off of Twitter for about the 9th time. People began to notice that this account, NYR fan 923602444, was suspiciously pro Tony. Was responding to a lot of stuff about Tony DeAngelo, who is not a good hockey player, whether you think he's racist or not. A storm of DMs began flooding the account, asking him if he likes lasagna, Olive Garden, to which the account replied with this tweet, that Guido, we must remember, is a slur. So Twitter user Nathan CSN then proceeded to fake Tony out by claiming that he had hacked the source code to one of his tweets. It was literally just the HTML examiner dev tools from Chrome. Tony then had a meltdown about this and said he was threatening legal action for hacking. So guys, what is your favorite part of this very good story?
When you first hear about any white NHL player having a burner account, my first instinct is, okay, well, clearly they're going on racist tirades, but especially a guy like Tony D'Angelo. However, upon looking into this story, I was pleasantly not traumatized by any sort of racial slurs. So I know we don't like Tony, but I will say that this is a cool burner account because it doesn't follow the very racist tradition of the NHL.
What I will say is, Tony, this is rookie shit, okay? You have to launder your positive tweets. For every tweet that you like or make about yourself, you have to retweet a cute possum video. You have to do something to launder. You can't just be all you. It's too obvious. But I honestly, in my heart of hearts, I know it's him, but I wish it wasn't him. Just because I want there to be a guy who, like, the equivalent, because I know basketball better, would be like if you stayed up until like 4 a.m. angrily tweeting at anyone who said anything bad about Kyle Kuzma. Like, that's the equivalent of what you're getting mad at. And I want that guy to exist so bad.
Yeah. Well, as we end this, let's just throw up that clip of Tony getting pantsed in the play-in round by Sebastian Aho to undignifiedly exit the playoffs last year.
Right to his right, and then all in one motion on the backhand, just underneath the crossbar.
All right. Well, everyone knows we're in a parallelogram right now. It's haunting our lives.
I didn't know you would say that.
It's haunting our lives. University of Michigan, they have paused activities for 2 weeks after finding out one of their student athletes, as well as some other people connected to the athletics department, have that really bad COVID from England. The outbreak was traced back to one student athlete who had been in England inexplicably, not in violation of the university's protocols to protect the athletes in the department from COVID. The athletes themselves now, they are protesting the stoppage. As we all know, the Big Ten cannot live without their sports. The parents, the athletes, everyone has to get out there. But it is also against the backdrop of Michigan's ban on contact sports. Contact sports have been stopped multiple times and delayed in their winter starts by the governor. So, guys, what do we think? How fucking stupid is the University of Michigan here?
Well, I think it's really funny when we look at like this petition. You go like, oh, when players want to like unionize, for example, then the administration and the coaches, they go, you have no voice in this. There's not a choice. But when it comes to stopping sports, then they go, oh, well, these students came together and they put out a petition. What are you going to do? They want to play. It's a deferral of responsibility. If you're a parent or a coach or an administration official, you should be ashamed of yourself. If you're a student athlete, I know it fucking sucks. I'm not being joking. I know it sucks, but we have to do it. It's 50% more contagious. We have to shut it down.
This sort of reminds me of the story that we did a couple of weeks ago on Justin Fields, where he got injured and then he made the decision to just go back into the game almost immediately. And for me, my point then is the same one that I have here, which is that the players, like, it shouldn't even be a choice amongst the players or the student. Like the system itself needs to shut down. And for me, it's so indicative that the system needs these kids to risk their lives on a daily basis in order for them to exist at all.
That's even before COVID. Even more.
That's before
highlighted even more right now. Well, we're going to delve in here to a sport that we haven't really covered on Southpaws before. It is a subject, though, we've covered, and that is, of course, hair. Ottawa University cheerleading coach Casey Jamerson is under fire for cutting a black athlete from the cheerleading team over refusing to remove her bonnet during a practice. Taylon Jefferson, the athlete in question, said she was wearing the bonnet to keep her large box braids from smashing people in the face while they're flipping around and stuff. And the coach then apparently launched into a racist rant about how the braids are not, quote, collegiate. The university is responding, of course, by backing up the coach, saying that Talon was using the bonnet as a way to be, quote, disobedient. And then they, of course, had to lock their Twitter account as they got just totally fucking owned. So, guys, what's going on here?
First of all, I gotta say it's heartbreaking because I feel like niggas can't do shit without getting backlash. I mean, we can't literally exist. We can't wear a bonnet. I ain't got no hair, but I can't wear a do-rag if I wanted to without getting blowback for it. And I don't want to go too Allen Iverson here, but we are talking about practice. This wasn't even a game. This wasn't even a competition. This is practice. She was wearing her bonnet during practice, folks. Like, do you understand like how absurd that is, that like you have to police someone's existence so bad that even during practice, that's absurd.
And the disobedience thing, it reminds me of a lot of service industry jobs I've had, maybe other people out there, where, you know, maybe some servers are fired, and maybe we all know that it's because of their appearance, or maybe they didn't put up with the constant bullshit of customers. Maybe they aren't completely deferential to these shithead customers 100% of the time, but they get fired for being disobedient, or maybe they get fired for having their cell phone out, something like that. And it's just an excuse for what was really always the thing they wanted to fire them over in the first place. That's what that thing screams to me. That disobedience. They were going to find one way or another.
Whoa, Nathan, you are being a little disobedient right now. You're going over time.
I have been.
But you know who does play by the rules? That's me. We're about to hit the button. It's overtime.
Okay.
You knew it's coming. The thing is, this isn't, as we alluded to, it's not just about hair. This is about power. It's about control. It's about punishing a black girl because she dared defy white authority, because she dared defy whiteness, and because she dared defy the very white and very anti-black bullshit professionalism that pervades every aspect of our culture. And it's about policing blackness at the end of the day. You know, we as a world, we owe black women, black people, but especially black women, we owe them so much more than what we give them. And because of that, you know, to Talon Jefferson, I salute you for existing and for not succumbing to white supremacy in this case. And to Casey Jamerson, whatever your name is, from the bottom of my heart, fuck you.
Well, closing out the power play is a little bit of sad news. Hank Aaron has passed away last week, and baseball has lost one of its true giants. Hammer and Hank, of course, warded off racist death threats, absolute abhorrent hatred that plagued the American South at the time. I mean, it plagued everywhere. I don't want to blame the South, but he was down in the South as integration was taking place. And through this all, he took out Babe Ruth. He was for a long time the home run king. To some people, still the home run king. Not me, though. I don't believe that. Hank, though, he was one of the last remaining Negro League heroes. He played for a short time with the Indianapolis Clowns before he was thrown into the pressure cooker of Southern minor leagues. Wasn't really a welcoming place to a black person back then. He then, he overcame and became a Milwaukee and Atlanta sports legend. He spent most of his career just being methodically steady greatness. And he is one of the greatest hitters of all time. Hank was a dedicated ambassador of baseball, and he will be greatly missed. So guys, what would you like to add to that?
We talk a lot on this show about giving black folks their flowers while they are alive. And Hank, he went through hella shit, hella bullshit, white supremacy, racism while he was playing. There's no doubt about that. But I think at the very least, I think that he was able to enjoy a lot of people's appreciation for him, and he was able to enjoy a lot of his flowers while he was alive. And I think that is a positive about this. And that's something that I appreciate about his legacy.
Yeah, very much so. When I think back at his, not that I ever saw him play, but his brilliance, the consistency, the power, the intelligence, and to do it in the United States during the 1950s and 1960s as a black man, and especially in the southern United States in the 1960s, I think that personally for me, that the totality of his career and life, I mean, it's not even just one of the greatest athletic achievements of the modern age. It's one of the greatest like human achievements, I think, to be able to live the life that he did and have the career that he did, given the circumstances. It's just incredible.
Very, very true. Rest in power, Hank Aaron.